just had the neighbor over for a visit. That was really nice. We had tea, and I broke out the chocolate-covered marzipan balls that I'm taking with me to a party tonight. I'm wondering if I should try to vlog the party. Probably all I'll manage to do is Instagram a selfie with my phone and leave it at that. Because I'd much rather spend the time being there than documenting it, if that makes sense. But who knows, I might get bored enough to want to sit in the corner and talk to my phone. Hard to say. They've got a sauna there too. I don't know if I'm going to take advantage of the sauna. I would like to, and in spite of the fact that I would probably have to do it with my skivvies and or nothing, and my colostomy bag would show, and that would take some courage, but I would do it. However, with my white blood cell count so low and this disturbing backache, headache thing that I've got going on, I really don't want to expose myself to germs to the degree that hanging out in a sauna seems like it would do. I shouldn't even go to the party, but I'm going. That's one reason I haven't seen a doctor about my headache. I want to wait until after the party so that nobody tells me I can't go, or does something really radical like stick me in a hospital, or I don't want to know. You know, if all of a sudden it goes from, oh, I've got a backache and a headache, to, oh, you've got something serious, then all of a sudden I'm not fully in control of my life and my moments. Somebody else is telling me what I can and can't do. I'm going to this party. It's funny, I had a comment on one of my videos from somebody who is a self-described psychic and wanted me to know that I'm surrounded by that there's negative energies in my life. And I'm like, yeah, and? So, well, I just told her, you know, there's lots of negative energy, and I've been getting rid of a lot of it, and it's a work in progress. Here's the thing, you know, a lot of the negative energy that's in my life isn't mine. It's people I care about, people I love, people I'm trying to keep in my life. And if I got rid of every negative person in my life, I would be utterly alone. Some of it's from me, and maybe that's why I don't have more positive people, but I'm not entirely sure this idea of the person who's always positive actually exists. Everybody has down days. Everybody has moments. And a lot of people, for them, the negative stories that they tell are the stories that they tell. They're what they have to tell. I'm knitting. In fact, let me just see if I can... No, I can't really tip it any further down so you can watch me knit. Yeah, how do you get rid of negativity in your life, you know? It's very important to stop embracing it, promoting it. If you think of negativity as... Well, I like the story of the two wolves. It's been attributed to various tribes, but it's a Native American story. An old man is talking to a child about how we're all born with two wolves in us. One wolf lives on positivity, love, and compassion, and empathy, and hope. And the other wolf lives on negativity, and anger, and self-pity, and fury. And the child says, well, you know, which wolf lived? You know, like, you grew up and one wolf died, and which wolf lived? This is the one I fed. And basically what they're saying is, inside of us all, there is positive and negative. And the one you pay the most attention to is the one you're going to get. And, I mean, I once, some time ago, realized something. People talk about, you know, you deserve better. They don't deserve that. They do deserve that. You don't deserve this. Deserve. You get what you deserve. I deserve this. I know my rights. I know what I deserve. No, I don't deserve this. This isn't how it should be. You know that. You've heard it. You've said it. I've said it. We've all been there. I finally came to realize God's not handing out candies and gold stars and justice. God is simply being. Life is simply being. And the stuff that comes to you, sometimes because you brought it towards you, sometimes because you needed it in your life and it was given to you. But stuff comes your way. Good stuff, bad stuff, positive, negative. It comes by you. You reach out and grab it, or you don't. That's that whole seize the opportunity thing. Maybe you reach out and grab it, maybe you don't. And it might be negativity that you're grabbing just because you're angry and you want, or you have a sympathy addiction and you absolutely need reasons to be miserable so people around you can express caring for you. So things come by and you reach out and grab. You get to have what you grab. So what you take from the buffet of life is what you get to have. It has nothing to do with whether or not you deserve it. And then there's the other part, and this is the important part. You only get to keep what you take care of. You keep what you care for. If you don't take care of it, you will lose it. If you do take care of it, you get to keep it. If it's important enough to you that you keep track of where it is, how it's doing, and repair it, fix it, feed it, care for it, love it, maintain it, then you get to keep it. That goes for your teeth, that goes for your health, that goes for your love life, that goes for your pets, that goes for your belongings. You get what you grasp, you keep what you care for. And this goes for attitude too. You keep what you take care of. You keep the wolf you feed. So if the thing that you put the most attention and effort into is being a miserable person that everybody feels sorry for, you will remain miserable. If, on the other hand, you focus on and strive for and work towards being a positive person, then you will get to be a positive person. I can't say that positivity will necessarily come by you in the buffet of life. I think there's been multiple examples from Baha'u'llah to Gandhi to Nelson Mandela of people who continued to suffer long after they became positive people with positive action for change and positive forces in their lives. They still had a lot of negativity. I mean, these people were locked up in jail and mistreated until they were very, very old. So I cannot tell you that being a positive person is going to give you positivity. But I can tell you that if someone named Psychic Sally pops in and tells you she can fix your world, she didn't tell me that. She simply said that I had some negativity around me and if I wanted help with that, I could contact her. Which I would say is an extremely polite way to do some self-marketing. If she had said that she could fix it for me, then I would have called her a liar, I would have called her a cheat, and I would have had a lot less respect for her. Because you can't. You can be a positive person. But you can't make the people around you be positive people. And you can't isolate yourself only to positive people. It doesn't work that way. You have to take what comes by, and you have to care for what matters. And when you let go of something, it will go away. And if you neglect something, it will go away. It will die, or it will leave. So, being positive is a work in progress. It's a constant exercise. It's no different from staying fit. You can't stay fit if you only get on the treadmill once. You can't stay fit if you only keep track of your calories one day a week. It has to be mindful, on your mind, all the time. So what's on your mind? Are you thinking about all the things you have to solve? Then you're thinking negatively. Are you thinking about all of the things that... Are you reminding yourself of the enjoyments you've recently had? Are you keeping track of the fact that you ate this morning? I saw a wonderful, wonderful young woman on YouTube last night who went through horrendous, life-changing experience wherein she lost far more than I have lost. And she sits there and says, no, I wouldn't change it because it brought me where I am now and I like where I am now. And I thought, it really makes it seem petty when I grieve for the things that I've lost this year because I'm still able to look after myself. I'm still able to look towards a future where I could do as I damn well please. And if I don't like somebody, I can kick them out of my life and yada yada. I still have self-agency. And she was brought down to where she must have a helper person in her life to live. And I wonder, Who would turn up in my life if that happened? And negativity, see? That's negativity. Sitting there imagining myself in somebody else's shoes that are worse off than me, instead of going, wow, did I ever get off easy? You know, and boy, am I ever glad that, you know, there was that girl that I chatted with Monday that lost a leg. And I loved how, you know, I looked at her and I thought, I don't have to ask her what happened. She's in the cancer clinic. I know what happened. She got cancer of the bone and they took her leg, and she's missing, she's got like super short hair, so she lost all her hair. I don't need to ask her to tell me her story. Her story is written there on her body. Instead, I've said, so have you picked out a prosthetic? What kind of prosthetic? Oh, and I saw this one woman. She had rhinestones and little LEDs for dancing. Her face just lit up at the thought of going to the club with a leg that's covered in rhinestones with little multicolored chase lights all over. It's like, wow, this whole world of cool gadgets just opened up. And so we talked about that, and she talked about, you know, when she's going to get her new leg, and that she can choose different colored skins, and that there's hydraulics and myoelectric bits. And I thought, you know, and she talked about how you could get, she seemed really interested in being able to wear high heels. She's too young for that stuff, but she's obviously not too young to be thinking about it. She's in grade 5. And so she was, we chatted for a bit in a really positive, happy vein about the good things that she can look forward to. We didn't talk about the chemo she's going through. We didn't talk about the chemo I'm going through. And that's what positivity is. How can I look at this situation I'm in and look for things to look forward to, things to be happy about? How do I say, you know, you get sick and tired of hearing people tell you, oh, you know, you've learned lessons of strength. I mean, I have. I've learned to back off when I feel tears coming. For the first time in 50 years, I can decide not to cry. Because I have this head injury right here, which that specific spot somehow affects my control over my crying. And it's much more difficult for me to choose not to cry than for most people. And I've been labeled a crybaby all through school. And I've been told by people that I cry on purpose to elicit sympathy, that I can turn it on and off like a waterworks, that it's obviously shallow. And sometimes, yeah, the crying is much shallower than I intend it to be. I'm having strong emotions. Yes, I'm feeling them, but I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to express tears, and I'm not utterly devastated when I start to cry. It is a genuine expression of how I'm genuinely feeling, but it's a stronger expression than I would choose. And so being able to back off and say, no, I'm not going to start crying. That's a nice thing. Crying is embarrassing. And not only is it embarrassing, but it's disabling. Because the feeling, the impact of the emotional trauma that goes on when the crying gets going stays with me for a good 4 to 6 hours or longer. It makes me more prone to crying, so that's how it can last longer. And it's the autonomic nervous system in your body, the sympathetic nervous system. You know, it affects everything. You're basically in a state of extreme stress. You feel sort of bummed out and tired and foggy the rest of the day from it. It affects me. You know, I was driving and I'm trying not to, and you know, crying starts to come up. And imagine crying while you're driving, and you don't want to drive blind. You got tears in your eyes. You can't see very well. You're heavily distracted because now your brain has seized on the thing that's upset it and wants to dwell on it and chew at it like a dog on a bone, and as if you're going to solve it. You know, worrying about something that you can't fix, as if somehow, if you could think of the solution, you can apply it, and or you can go back in time and apply it in the past and the thing that you're feeling sad about. It's not going to happen. It's like sitting there thinking all day about what you would have done if you had been there when that person you loved died, that would have stopped them from dying. You know, if I'd only been there, or if I'd only If I'd only heard it in his voice that night, if I'd only stayed with him, if I'd only X, Y, and Z. It's like we're thinking, if I can come up with the perfect answer to this situation, what I could have done, then God's going to meddle with my memories and meddle with what happened, and that person will be alive, and I won't remember them dying, or I won't remember the trauma, or, like let's say it's not a case where something that was there is now gone, but rather an experience you had that comes up and makes you cry in the middle of the night. You dream of it and you wake up upset, or somebody says something that brings it back to mind and it upsets you, which, by the way, that is what PTSD is. You're sitting there rolling along in your life and a song comes on the radio and reminds you of something that upset you, and it upsets you again because you never really got over it. You just learned to put it away, and when something brings it up, it comes up. That's PTSD. I have PTSD from childhood peer abuse because I have autism. I have PTSD now from my cancer treatments because I've been through a lot. And those are triggers. And I don't want to cry. I don't want to spend that time being upset. And it's going to be with me all my life. But I'm getting better at swallowing it, at breathing, at calming down. And I'm learning, too, that when people start talking to me about, how are you and how's this, and they want to express caring, so they bring up stuff that has happened to me that that are unhappy things. And I'm learning to say, I don't want to talk about that. It's behind me. And I'm actually starting to figure out how to turn the conversation back to them, which is, to me, the biggest challenge in life has always been, how do I turn a conversation onto someone else and get them talking so that I can sit back and listen and relax and just be an audience for a change. And that is one of the biggest challenges I've ever had. And unfortunately, when I do get someone who's a talker, they want to talk about all of the crap that somebody's been through. They've been through, someone they know has been through. And did you hear about the guy down on Avenue O who died of, who got sick from this? And did you hear about, did you hear about in the news? And so to have this person talk, saying, oh, you've got negativity around you. It's kind of like when a psychic says to an audience, somebody recently lost somebody, and it was a male or a female, and then they see someone in the audience is like, and they go, yeah, like when you say it's male, female, well, at some point, someone in the audience goes, you can be sure that 5, 10, 15 of the people in this group of 100 have lost someone recently who's either a male or a female. So you look for someone who has an emotional reaction to your statement. Bam, you've got somebody. Now you start listing off common first names of letters. Yes, I'm getting it. I'm getting a name. It starts with an R. Now it's men's names. It's men's names. R. No, it's S, T. She's really good at watching audience reactions. And now she's actually watching one or two audience members in particular who are very responsive. Hones in. Okay, now she knows the first letter. Now she just says a couple of names. Boom, she's got it. Now she's got somebody she can read. They're easy to read. They're telegraphing themselves very clearly. And they're going through a bunch of names. And so then, she brings them a message from the dead, and the message is always, they want you to be happy, they're fine, they're with you all the time, they're watching over you, and bam, you're making money as a psychic. And I'm a psychic. I can read people. I can read spirits. I have ferried many souls of the dead through to the other room. And I tried marketing it one year. I went to a bunch of psychic fairs. I had my tarot cards, and I really loved reading people with tarot cards, but people didn't like the readings. I was telling them the truth, and it wasn't what they wanted to hear. And so I did not build in customers. And I finally went, I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to just try and figure out what they want to hear and tell them that. And the thing is, I can't read your mind. I read your heart. I read your heart. I can tell you, if you really, really want to better yourself, you could sit down with me for a tarot card reading. And I will tell you what qualities of character are holding you back, and what qualities of, and what experiences and things you need to reach for to go where you need to go. I can do that for you, but nobody wants me to. They just want to come out and continue to drift in a la-la land of sensationalism and negativity and positivity and ride another roller coaster and eat another chocolate bar. And so I gave up on the psychic fair thing because I just sat there at an empty table while all of these fake people raked in the money, and I thought, this isn't fun, and it's costing me a fortune to pay for my table. So I gave up on that, and for a little while I did a couple of tarot card reading parties, but I had the same problem. People came away dissatisfied because I was telling them the truth. I know when you're lying. Well, not you, because you're on the other side of the camera, and I have to actually engage with you. And I know when I'm being lied to. Oh, look, I've gone way over the time. Well, I'll just finish up quick. I know when I'm being lied to. I know when someone has a pure heart, when they have a dark heart. I know when they're sad. I know when they're happy. I know where your heart is at. And this has protected me from predators, and that's about all it's really good for. And it gives me a lot more faith in people than the people around them, which probably is what draws a lot of negative people to me, because I still continue to love them in spite of it. I don't know. I hope it's useful to me someday, at least in bringing me more community and support. I don't need money, I need support. Money is one way of supporting someone because you buy food, but you can also just bring them food. And, I'm one of those people. I'm just as happy you bring me a bag of potatoes as you bring me $5. Either way, I'm good. Bring me something I can use. Groovy. We're good. I don't need to have the money to go buy the thing I can use if I have the thing I need. So I'm hoping when I move into my bus and I go out into the world that I can generate that kind of flow, that I can live cheaply and I can live well without necessarily having to win a lottery or suddenly become somebody else who's employable. And I would love to have a job. That'd be great. I got tired of all of the heartache of losing the job, so I quit trying. Okay, it's way over time. I think YouTube will let me upload longer videos. They don't seem to mind anymore if you go over 10 minutes. Used to be a 10-minute limit, and it doesn't seem to be anymore unless you've been flagged or something. But so, 23 minutes is a long video. And I've got a little snippet that I'm going to throw on from my 3D printer. I'm printing Ganesh, the elephant-headed Hindu god. And I'm going to give it to somebody. I'm not sure who. Somebody that I don't know to whom to give it. I just keep it around until it seems right, and I'll give it to someone. Because Ganesh brings good fortune. So, enjoy the brief little snippet of Ganesh at the end. See you tomorrow. I decided I needed a little more Ganesh in my life, so I downloaded and sent to print. Boy, you really can't tell what it is. Well, it's an elephant. Yes, it's Ganesh, the elephant god of the Hindus, being printed. In fact, he's just about working on his forehead now. Yeah, you really can't tell what it is like that. But that's my printer going off. Isn't that neat?